When I work on a video, I need to use a lot of edits. Cuts, shortcuts, keybinds, tucks and trims, zoom in, zoom outs, the whole shebang. A lot of my time goes into both drawing and editing videos, adding all the elements together to make videos such as the one you're watching right now, as well as some of these ones. My workspace is kinda tight, and I don't have much wiggle room. Particularly, to reach my keyboard, I'd have to lean over my tablet to click the keybinds, and unfortunately, after repeated weight on the poor thing, it collapsed. Funnily enough, just a few days or so after the poor little incident, this funny little package arrives in my post. Something I really needed. And ever since using it, it has changed the way I work. And I'm being serious here, it has definitely changed the way I work. The TourBox Neo, sent to me by the people at TourBox Tech. Little anecdote, I was at the shopping mall when it arrived, so I sped to the closest post office and almost got kicked out because surprisingly enough, I don't have an ID that says Kawoki. Who would have guessed that's not my real name? It was all fine in the end. I was a little too excited and impatient, so I unboxed it then and there, next to a pond, in a park, outside. As you can probably see, it's not excessively large, nor is it forgettably small. The TourBox, when you pick it up, it's quite hefty to the touch. It's got a solid weight that won't topple over by the slightest nudge. One thing I'm super happy and overjoyed about is the matte finish. It's professional. It's super easy in the eyes, and it makes it look super professional. Really, I like how it looks. It uses a single wire to connect it all, so it doesn't get overwhelming when fiddling with wire organization and all that jazz. That's something I've actually struggled with a lot. I am too embarrassed to show you what my wires look like, but all you need to know is that I struggle. Again, the TourBox only uses one wire to connect everything together, and it's not too long, but it's long enough for you to feel free to move it around. Like most new things, it takes a while to get used to the new setup. As you can probably notice, the buttons, they're all unique. Sure, some of them are the same, but most of the buttons here are unique. When practicing on how to use the TourBox or memorizing the different keybinds you have added to it, it's a lot easier. It helps tremendously. It only took me a few days or so to not look at the TourBox at all, but be able to maneuver around it without even looking at it. It's all in the muscle memory. Of course, that was all after setting up the keybinds and customizing the buttons to work. You see, the whole gist of the TourBox is that it works kind of like a game controller or an extension of your keyboard or a numpad, something like that. You can pair the different buttons and knobs to different shortcuts in specific programs. This is actually going to be answering some questions you guys have been asking, but since some of you in the comments have asked, the main software that I use to draw is Clip Studio Paint EX, and the program that I mainly use to assemble everything together, my editing program, is Premiere Pro. Like any tablet or other device, you need to download its software before you fiddle around with it. You can find the TourBox drives on their website. When you open up the box, it gives you some really good instructions to do all that, so it's not too hard to settle in. It took a few tries, and honestly it would have taken less if I had just read the instructions correctly, but eventually I was able to put my personal shortcuts from Clip Studio Paint into the TourBox. Take a look. This took a little bit to set up, just a little bit, but I just want to show you how I've been using the TourBox. Let's see, so this I use for the zoom ins, zoom outs and everything, and it's been working wonders because I don't have to reach over to anything to zoom in or to zoom out. And sometimes for Clip Studio Paint specifically, before the TourBox, I would use the scrolling tool with my mouse and everything, but I think this works a lot better. All I need to do is like point my pen in the right direction and zoom in and zoom out. This one, I don't think I've put anything for it. This one is to rotate. Use it all the time. I think it's useful. I made the pressing motion for it to set it back. Same with this. I use it to flip the canvas, which I often need to do. And artists, do that as often as you can. It helps a lot in learning how to draw with symmetry and that. I mean, not to say that all pieces need to be symmetrical. Of course they don't. This one's an eraser. If I zoom in here, if I draw something, if I don't like it, I can just go. It's a Control-Z. I don't have to reach over my tablet and actually press the button, so that's great. Just do a love heart. I used these two buttons to do Control and then paste, so you can see it like that. I still haven't found a use for this. I could use this for size brushes or opacity, but I don't really use those too much. This one's super useful. Let's draw that love heart again. This button here, I use it to do transforming. This one's a shift, so then I'm able to do that. This one is K, and it's a move button. It isolates everything on the layer and then allows me to move it. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. This button is just going back to the brush. So there's that. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna start drawing. Editing, on the other hand, is a lot different. I'm still not used to it as much as I am drawing, because I draw, I draw more than I actually edit. But a little sneak peek for the next video I'm making, so that's a bit exciting. There we go. Yeah, that's also my Control Z button. This, I'm pretty sure, is another copy and paste. This is the zooming in and the zooming out of the actual timeline. This knob specifically has helped me out tremendously, because normally if I'm using my mouse, I would just have to scroll around like this, right? This has helped me catch the certain bits that I need to time properly and do certain things, and I think that's awesome. This button is to play. It's just to press play and to, see what's happening. This one, I don't actually have a use for this button just yet. I will put one in, but these buttons are what I've been using the most. See, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I need to trim a lot of things. This one's the razor tool. You can actually see it on the screen right now. Hold on. Over here, yeah, this shows up. It helps me a lot to remember what I've actually done. This is the razor tool. If I do this, I click it, I press down to go back to a normal kind of button type feel, and I press whatever I need to get rid of, and if I click cut, it's gone. It's helped me a lot. I've needed something like that, because now it's just automatic. Now I can just do it automatically. Selection tool is just the same thing. Mark out and mark ins and mark outs just help me out with rendering the process of it all. I don't use it that much though. But yeah, compared to Clip Studio Paint, I'm still not used to using the shortcuts in Premiere Pro. So yeah, I can scroll through this. I'm really excited to show this video, but whatever. The TourBox can actually help me. It probably will. TourBox is going to help me a lot in terms of being able to finish this a lot more efficiently. The entirety, okay, maybe not the entirety, but most of this PMV-ish kind of thing, most of this was done with the TourBox. So this entire beginning bit was made before I got the TourBox, but the rest of it was completely made using the TourBox. Save. Don't forget to save your work. It's important. Another chef's kiss to working with it all is that it has an automatic switch. What I mean by that is that instead of having to do an on and off button for different programs when you switch them around for your TourBox to calibrate on it, instead it just does automatically. For some reason, out of all the things I could have worried about, that was something I was genuinely relieved that was something I was genuinely relieved about, that I wouldn't have to go through a lengthy process when it comes to switching different programs. But it does it automatically for you instead. I would say my overall thing is that although I use a TourBox for mainly 2 programs, you don't have to use it for just drawing programs or just editing programs. You can use it on practically anything. Overall, using the TourBox I would say it definitely has sped up the way I work, because as I mentioned before, this isn't going to apply for everyone, but as I mentioned before, I broke my tablet because I would actually have to lean over to do the shortcuts. But fortunately, now that I have the TourBox, I don't have to do that stuff. It lets me stretch out. Because it's muscle memory, and because the buttons are so unique and they're different, I don't have to constantly look if I'm pressing the right thing. I would just feel it, and then boom, bada bing, bada boom, it's working. For anyone who does a lot of hefty editing, or a lot of work that requires trimming, or constantly going over the same thing, I 100% say, go get it. Get the TourBox. It's useful, and it doesn't feel flimsy. That's something I was worried about, genuinely. I thought it would be something that feels super plastically. Well, it is made out of plastic, but this feels like an actual tool. I think it's such a nice addition to your office or your workspace as well. Its heavy weight avoids a lot of little mishaps, which happen a lot in my workspace. I tend to leave open bottles of water everywhere, so that should tell you everything. I just want to reiterate and say again, if you're an artist, you're an editor, your work demands anything that works with software programs or anything online, the TourBox is a perfect addition to that kind of workspace. It makes everything so much easier. Once you get the hang of it, it's smooth sailing from there. Luckily enough, TourBox has given me a custom coupon code that takes $10 off of your purchase of the TourBox. And in addition, the people at TourBox Tech are holding a sale with 15% off, plus a free storage case. This will be up until the 31st of December, so if you're thinking of a little Christmas gift for any of your art friends or yourself, a little gift for yourself, now is the perfect time to go for it. But yeah, overall, that was my review of the TourBox. It's something I'm not taking out of my workplace anytime soon. It's definitely something that I've already integrated into my usual working habits. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope to see you guys next time. And with this TourBox, I hope to produce more fun videos, more entertainment, more arts, anything that you guys will enjoy. I'll see you next time.